Now, what's up, everybody? You are tuned into season 2 of the 2024 SD nominated show, The Elks Call, presented by Shotgun Sports. My name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X.
And I'm Catherine, aka Edmonton Elks.
And we have a stacked show up ahead for everybody. We have number 9, punter of the Edmonton Elks, Jake Julien, joining us in just a moment. We got fresh president news. We got an Oilers ticket giveaway.
Big episode.
Yeah, is this the biggest one yet?
I think so.
I think it's the biggest episode yet. We already see we got quite a few viewers on the stream already. Shout out you. We got to give the shout outs before we get started on the show. Shout out to everybody for tuning in tonight, whether you're watching on our YouTube, which is Shotgun Sports Network, or on Facebook, which would be The Elks Herd, or if you're listening on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Edmonton Sports Talk, or wherever you get your podcasts, we salute you. And while we're here, if you could hit the like, subscribe, or favorite button, we would greatly appreciate it. All right. For tonight's episode of The Elks Call, we're going to open up with the More You Didn't Know with Jake Julien. Then we're going to dig into the herd. Well, we got some announcements, and then we're going to dig into the herd report, talking about the latest Edmonton Elks game, news, and transactions. Probably going to talk a little bit about that president news as well. And then we're going to give you an Edmonton sports update, and then we're going to cap the show with the fan forum, where we discuss hot topics surrounding the Elks, the CFL, and the sports world as a whole. Be sure to blow up the herd chat so you can get your comments and questions onto the show. Herd chat, Tracy Hammond-Eggs and Daryl Henderson, we see you. Good evening, and thanks a lot for joining us. Really thrilled to see you guys. All right.
Yeah.
We're thrilled to see our guests here right away. Let's start the show with The More You Didn't Know, where we talk to our guest about a variety of topics. The More You Didn't Know is brought to you by the Winnipeg Terminal. Catch the flight with Mike and Joe every 2 weeks as they get you fueled with all the latest in Bombers and Jets land. Wheels up. All right, everybody, please welcome to the show, Jake Julien, punter for your Edmonton Elks. Jake, thanks for joining us today, man. How does it feel to have the world, including Barstool Sports, talking about that walk-off punt from Friday night?
It's pretty cool. I don't think it's still hit me quite yet. I never really thought I'd have a walk-off punt. Just like, it was a crazy night. It was a great win.
Oh, it was awesome. What are the odds that it's against Liram Haralahu, who did like the same thing a couple weeks previous, right?
Yeah. No, I was talking to Boris about that. We had a pretty heated debate in the locker room about the Rouge ending the game, and then came down for us too.
Oh, it was so good. It was like a movie. Haven't seen anything like that. One of the most exciting games I've ever seen.
It was a wild game.
It was wild. This is one of the few that Kathy has missed since being an Edmonton Elks fan. It's way she goes.
Hey, I still watched it just from home. And you know what? It was a chilly one, so I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah, let's get into this, Jake. We always like to get to know our guests right off the hop. What was the sports memory that started the path to where you are today? What was maybe that pivotal moment?
It's a great question. I mean, I grew up a big soccer guy. So I played soccer my whole childhood, and then found out I wasn't really good enough at soccer to pursue that too much further. So making the switch to football, my dad was a huge Seahawks, still is a huge Seahawks fan. So I remember watching him watch the games and just getting so crazy about them. And that it was funny, I broke John's record, but growing up watching John and watching, I think it was Hauschka, the kicker at the time, just thinking like, yeah, I could probably do that, but like not really realizing that one day I would actually be doing that.
Oh, that's really cool. So, I mean, in your head, you're like, well, punter's kick, I guess that's pretty similar to soccer. So I'll give that one a go. Was that the train of thought that you had there? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, I started off as a kicker. Wasn't a very good one. I was the guy who would make the 55 and then miss the PAT. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool to see it come full circle.
Oh, no, definitely. We do have a question up ahead about the John Ryan comparison there,
but for now, You grew up as a Canadian kid and went down south to play for the Eastern Michigan Eagles for 5 years. What was it like playing down south, yet hours away from home?
It was interesting because I was separated from basically everyone I knew, just by a border. Right, I could drive and see all my friends whenever I'd wanted to, but it was having the border there kind of made it a distant relationship, even though it was so close. Eastern was great to me. I mean, like, it's really the place that I grew up, and it holds a special place in my heart.
Oh, that is sweet. No, and I mean, and it's my mom had brought me out to the Sioux there a while ago, many years ago, right? So I have gotten to hop across the border, but you are right, you're completely cut off in that sense, right? It's got to be, especially when you're just like mere hours.
Yeah, I mean, it's so close, but it's so far at the same time, because if you really want to make the trip and go see each other, you got to get the passports, you got to make sure you got everything in order, and it's more of a trip than just driving down the highway.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. No, exactly. Now, speaking of down south, you did spend a bit of time with the New England Patriots as well. You didn't quite make the roster, but you did try out with the Jets and then the Patriots again. So how did that experience help you as a punter, especially with, the direction you're going right now?
Yeah, so if Eastern kind of turned me into the man I am, New England definitely turned me into the pro I am. Just being in the building and watching guys do their thing, watching guys like Nick Folk or Matt Slater, like, go through their process, what it's like to take care of your body, what it's like to, like, really just be a pro. Like, because the transition from college to the NFL or the CFL is it becomes your job, and it's like you don't have to be there every day. You get to be there, and that transition of this is how I'm going to feed my family, this is how I'm going to make a living, really opened my eyes to what matters when you are a professional.
Crazy. Now, I do got to ask, was it weird trying out for the Patriots after you were already on the other side of the glass?
It was interesting because I was there with 4 other guys who were also getting worked out. And I just kind of walked around the building. I got pretty close with everyone because I was there for 6 months in the summer when nobody else is. It was just the there, right? So I'm walking past all the hallways I used to walk down, and I'm like, I'll wave to the nutritionist. I was pretty close with him, and just wave back and pretend like he didn't see me, because they don't want the workout guys interacting too much with the team. And it was a cool experience to get back in the building, but yeah, it was interesting.
That is that would be quite a because the division, right? Once again, it's just like the Canadian and American border, same deal.
So like you're still rivals, but you're still friends. And what do you do in that sense? But let's bring it back to the CFL a little bit. The Red Blacks drafted you, but ultimately went down another direction when it came down to finalize the roster. So you made your way to Edmonton to begin this chapter. Had you ever been to Edmonton before you were signed?
No. So the furthest west I've been in Canada is probably Windsor. I never took a trip out west. So it was funny. Me and my wife we were joking around about it when we were kind of figuring out how it was all going to play out, and I kind of knew I wasn't going to be in Ottawa for long term. It's like, I mean, everything out there is pretty nice, just not Edmonton. Like, because in my head I pictured it as just oil derricks and wheat fields, like, super flat, and a pop-up stadium somewhere. I had no clue. I remember hearing about the Double E when I was growing up, and just how, like, dominant they were for so long, and I knew the names Mike Riley and Ricky Ray, but I had no clue what Edmonton was like as a city. I thought it was just going to be just fields.
Fields in an oil derrick. I love it.
That is so good. So then,
no, that's a sketch one.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess what the next question would be, to build upon that, what was your first reaction, like, getting, like, let's say, like, like a full couple days? If you like once you got a little bit settled in, like, obviously you have your initial reaction, but let's say, like, your first week, like, what did you do? What did you get up to?
I mean, coming off the plane, it was basically exactly what I expected, because the airport's pretty far out of the city. I didn't know how close we were to the stadium and downtown, and I was just like, was texting my friends. And I was like, guys, it's exactly how we thought it was. Like, but the closer we got to downtown, like me and my wife both, we really fell in love with the city. Like, it's just so, especially in the summer months, it's so beautiful. The river valley and just the whole area, the pulse of the city. It's a really sweet place to be.
That's good. That's nice. It's always nice hearing those kind of. I'm not from Edmonton as well. I'm from outside of Edmonton. I'm from outside of the country, really. And I came from Mexico City, and I had the same kind of idea when my parents were like, "Yeah, we're gonna move to Edmonton." I'm like, "Where's all the people?" But it really grows on you. It really does. And yeah, now we absolutely love it.
No, and then it's funny too, because yes, when you get off the plane and you drive up the QE2 there, yes, there are oil derricks sitting on the side
and a lot of fields.
Yeah, oh yeah. We haven't braved the winter yet, but like the summer, it's just so beautiful. It's long days, lots of sunlight. Like it's awesome.
No, totally. No, and personally, I think if I were to move anywhere else in Canada, it'd be Winnipeg. So I mean, I have weird taste, but it is. We hear that often from players and alumni. Like, people fall in love with the charm, people fall in love with the summers, right? So it's cool to hear that you're another player that's fallen in love with our big city here in Alberta. But speaking of Edmonton, you came into Edmonton taking over for John Ryan, who had retired the year before you came to Edmonton. So from the day that you came in to now, you've somehow smashed his average punting yards record of 50.4 yards. You've now posted a 54-yard average for 2024. Who would have thought? Especially with Rob being a really, really big Seahawks fan.
Yeah, no, it's so cool how it all kind of played out, because when I got up here last year, I was kind of curious, like, what did the team look like? Who's on the team? Do I know any of the names? I checked the roster for the 22 season. I saw John's name there. I was like, oh, that's crazy. Like, I didn't know he played up here, because I didn't know his history growing up. I only knew he played for the Seahawks. And just finding out his path and how he played in Saskatchewan for 2 years and then had his whole NFL journey, it was really, it was the immediate, like, hey, like, I can still play some NFL football. Like, I just have to do things right. And it's really cool how it's all playing out.
Oh, for sure. Dad must be proud. That's for sure.
Yeah, they are very proud.
No, I bet. The entire family, your wife, everybody. I mean, especially, bringing in records. So that's super cool.
We just simply haven't seen anything like this. And I mean, the fact that you actually beat John Ryan's record, and John Ryan is, the player that you basically took over for the following year. It's like a movie. It's everything's starting to feel like a movie here. So really special.
Definitely.
Really, really special.
And I mean, last year your average was 45.4. Yet this year you leveled up and broke the average for 50.4, as previously mentioned. So what would you say the biggest contributing factor in your improvement was this year?
Yeah, I mean, last year I really got rookied. Like, it just hit me like a bag of bricks. Like, I'm no longer in college. I can't survive off of Wayback Burgers. I can't, like, just stay up late at night playing video games and then show up at the building and do my thing and then expect Saturdays to go well, right? So this off season that just passed, like, the big focus was being the pro I know how to be. Right. And that's not just showing up early or like doing a couple extra kicks. It's how I go about my every day, how I go about my life, like structuring my life around becoming the best punter I can be. And it paid off. I mean, it worked out. But yeah, just really, it wasn't a secret pill or magic formula. It was really just like, I knew what to do. It was doing it.
It wasn't like a punters hate him. Discover the 10 reasons why Jake Julien is smashing these records. It wasn't anything like that. No
it's
gimmicks.
just hard work. You get down and you do the work.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
But how about we get to some fun questions?
Mhm.
Because I'm sure you've talked quite a bit of football already, and you might be talking a little bit more this off season. But yeah, let's take a look at it. Like, let's say a game day for Jake Julien. What does that look like? Do you have rituals, or is there any standard game day practices?
Home games, it's almost always Albert's family breakfast. It's on the west side of downtown. I'll get a huge breakfast from there, and then I try my hardest to stay away from any rituals or routines, because that was another thing in college. Like in college, I needed to sleep this much. I needed to do this the day before. I needed to do that the morning of, and it became like a trap. Like where if I didn't do these things, I knew I was going to play poorly. And I don't know when it was, but I just kind of realized like I don't need anything to play well. I just have to show up. So getting a big breakfast that tastes really good, and then showing up to the stadium, and obviously I gotta get ready, I gotta stretch, I gotta warm up and everything. But yeah, just great breakfast and relax.
It's awesome. And then what about like for the off season? Let's say about a week or two from now, you're all settled in.
Just a regular day.
What's a regular day?
Jake Julien's
Me and my wife got our second dog, so we gotta, right when I get back to Michigan, we gotta train him on the electric fence. So it's gonna be that's gonna take up a lot of my day. But a regular day, I mean, I'll wake up, I'll relax a lot of relaxing, and then I like to, if I'm gonna work out, I like to get out at around noon, and then I'll either go to a field, or there's a really nice dome close to my wife's family's house. So I'll go to the dome, kick around for 2 or 3 hours, come home, hang out. I don't do a whole lot. It's kind of lame. But.
You kick it and then you kick it. I mean, that's I mean, punt it and then kick it. That's you punt it and then kick it.
No,
okay.
Sorry, I was just distracted by the horrible puns that sometimes come out of your mouth. But if we were to look at your main Spotify playlist right now, what songs and artists would we see?
It's literally the biggest grab bag you'll ever see. I mean, me and my wife have been listening to on the drive, like mix of hot country, playlist called Play That Funky Music, and then whatever locker room songs that I've saved that I liked how they sounded. So we listened to a bit of Boss Man D-Lo and just basically shuffle. The biggest shuffle playlist you can think of.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, like I like variety is pretty good, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, as long as it's not 100% country,
Yeah,
it's,
I can't do that.
We get a lot of that here.
But there's nothing wrong with having one of those playlists. I have one of those as well, and it gets a little wild.
Just random everything. Well, and in the locker room, you guys were definitely jamming out this season. So I'm sure you got a couple good memories, out of a couple songs there. That's for damn sure. Now we do see some questions in the Herd Chat. We will get to those in just a moment, but we got a Fast Five and then one more question, and then we will get to the Herd Chat questions. So Fast Five, I did not get the exact same ones as we asked Jamin. All right. First question, favorite chips?
Miss Vicky's, the blue bag, the dark blue, sweet chili sour.
Yeah, that is good. Favorite color?
Green.
Video games or books?
Video games.
Car guy or truck guy?
More leaning into trucks now, SUVs.
Nice. And then favorite all-time meal?
Big breakfast. The exact thing I get at Albert's. 3 eggs. Oh, lights just went out.
Nice.
Big breakfast. 3 eggs scrambled, bacon, sausage, cubed potatoes, and then chocolate chip pancakes.
Wow.
That does actually sound really
That
good.
sounds like a growing boy's breakfast, right there.
Sometimes when I don't want to, but yeah.
Yep, fueled by Alberts, baby. Fueled by
there you go.
Alberts.
Yeah. What would you say? What sports do you watch outside of football?
I still like soccer, but I don't watch it as much as I should. I watch basically every CFL game I'm watching. I watch a lot of NFL, and then in high school I played rugby for 3 years. So I really enjoy rugby. I really like the game. It's not on TV much, but I get the highlights on Instagram. I get the highlights on YouTube, and I'll watch those quite a bit.
What teams do you cheer for? What are your favorite teams?
Which league?
Let's start with NFL.
NFL. I chase my friends. So my best man in my wedding, my best friend Chad, he plays for the Cardinals. I'm watching a lot of Cardinals games right now. Couple good friends. One on the Titans. I'll watch him whenever he gets the chance to go. Really good buddies with the punter on the Lions. I like watching him play. And then I'll catch most Seahawk games just for my dad.
Nice.
Yeah.
I figured Seahawks would be in the mix just a little bit.
Just somewhere in there. How about soccer?
Soccer, it's literally whatever I watch on TV. I like, you know how randomly when you're a child you pick a team and you have no affiliation with them, but you like them?
All right. Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi, Ronaldo. Messi.
Yeah.
My son won't like you, but that's okay. Because I keep saying that Messi is better.
And then he's like, "Go Renato."
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I know what that's like as well, to pick a team and stick with them until, they disappoint you over and over. I'm not saying double E. I'm not saying double E.
Whoa.
I'm talking outside of the CFL.
It's aggressive.
There's a particular hockey team that I'm a big fan of, let's say, based out of Ontario.
How about hockey? NHL, do you have a favorite team?
No. I get so much hate for it from my Canadian friends, but not a hockey guy in the slightest. Can't watch much.
No way. Jake Julien is not a big hockey guy.
You know what? I
Can't,
was that.
can't even skate.
Interesting. And the more you didn't know. The more you didn't know.
Listen,
for a reason.
Not everybody has to be a hockey fan, okay?
No, and it's kind of funny. Like after that Oilers run, like I will say, it's there is a hockey fatigue, and you don't see that too often in this city, right? Especially when we've seen everything that we've had to see here in Edmonton with those Oilers. So yeah, I mean, hey man, it's really cool to actually meet a Canadian that is not the biggest hockey fan.
Yeah.
For once.
All right.
Let's get to our herd chat questions. Big fan here, 2019. I want to say that's going to be John Kirby. Says, "Hi Jake, hope you're back next year with the green and gold." And then he does ask, Jake, what's your favorite CFL team to play against? And what's your favorite CFL team to play a road game in? Klima's Lid also did ask, what's your favorite stadium to kick in? So I guess that'll be a combo.
Let's focus on the first part. What's your favorite CFL team to play against?
Team to play against would... I'm trying to go through them in my head. I got a couple friends on Hamilton, so it's always nice to play. Really good friends with Carthel Flowers Lloyd. Played with him in college, and then I know Mark pretty well, Legio, and then Vedvik is there. He was on practice roster for them. He punted for him a bit last year. I'm really close with Ved. It's really just where are my friends? I love seeing the guys pregame, and it's super nice to just see guys still playing ball, still doing what they love, and it's awesome to just see them before the game, see them after the game.
Yeah, we did see that you're always good for the pictures after the game as well with your old crew, right? So that is so cool, and it's really cool to see you follow your friends. I think that's a good saying. Like, hey, who do you cheer for? Follow my friends. Like I got to see the homies be successful, right? That's really cool. So yeah, let's get to Klima's Lid's question, which is part 2 of John's. Sorry, that's why. Thank you for saving me there, Catherine. Other than Commonwealth, what's your favorite CFL stadium to kick in and why?
I love playing a PC place.
Uh-huh.
The indoor is the specialist dream. No weather, no hot, no cold, no wind, and the locker room there is pretty big. I like Vancouver as a city. I mean, it's just a bunch of wins there. I love playing inside.
That's interesting. This is going to be my first time being in that stadium, so I'll keep that in mind for the Grey Cup. Of
Oh,
course.
totally.
Yeah. We have another question here from John. Jake, if the team were to do an opening season concert like the BC Lions, who do you think the headline for the concert should
Who
be?
would you? Who would you want to headline it?
It need to be someone who had a bunch of big songs that everyone knew, right? Because if it's a country artist, like half the guys be happy, half the guys wouldn't. Someone like maybe Nickelback. A couple great hits. Everybody knows the music. Get the crowd going.
Even if you hate Nickelback, you still know all of Nickelback songs.
You know the songs, and they can get the crowd going.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah, John, Post Malone.
Post Malone.
I don't know about that one.
Hey, you know what? Right in the same line, Creed would be good too. A little bit of Creed for the bros,
I don't know. Bring back Celine Dion. I don't know. Go big or go home.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else?
I don't think so.
Herd
So
chat?
far, we did have a comment from Sinjin. Let's go, Jake. Definitely lots of love for Jake in the chat.
Appreciate
then-
it.
From Klima's Rouge for the win.
Rouge for the win. Yeah, that was just wild.
Absolutely wild.
Oh, so
maybe
crazy.
before we let you go, what were your thoughts for that win? Just kind of let us in a little bit more. Let's bring it back. Let's close it with that. Big
We
Rouge
do have
for the
another
win.
question as well.
Oh, sorry.
We should, yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, we'll finish with that one. But yeah, no, Jake, yeah, like what
Yes,
was
let's talk about that. Let's talk about this Rouge. What were your thoughts? What was your thought process? As you were going in the field and that happened.
It was a crazy series of events because we went down with not a lot of time left, and my shoes are really tight. So I untied my shoes and I was kind of relaxing. I knew if we went on to kick a PAT, if we did score, like I don't need my shoes tied. It's just holding, just put the ball down. I don't have to run. And then we get to the point in overtime where we have the ball. And in my head, I thought, okay, if we got to kick a game-winning field goal here, I don't want my shoes to be untied in the picture. So I tied them up, and I was just standing near the heater. And then Vince asked me to come hold a couple for him just really quick, make sure we were all good, put down one or two for him. And then as we're running on the field, I'm probably at the numbers. Coach J-Jack yells over and says, "Hey, can you kick this?" I'm like, "You mean like punt it?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "All right, let's go." And I was like, "All right, sounds good." So we ran out there, and I wish I had a thought or a memory of anything, but I just caught the ball, kicked it, and I knew off my foot it was good. So I didn't move, and it went out, and I was like, "All right, sweet." Didn't realize I won the game. I just I knew it was a point, but I didn't know if it counted. Like I was super confused. Everybody was celebrating. I was like, okay, yeah, we did it. Let's go.
And then suddenly it's like, oh, wait,
Yeah.
it's a win.
Yeah, seriously, no. Like all the comments are all like, "Oh, what is this Rouge? Like, what is this rule?" And I'm like, "Yeah, me too." Like, I had no clue. I wish I could say like we had planned that and it was from the start. We knew what we were gonna do, but it was just kind of spur of the moment. Can you kick it? And I said, "Yeah, let's do it."
And the celly at the end too, Jake. That celly at the end was amazing. Your cellies, I will say your celly game is on point. I've been following those cellies. You've been booting the ball, and just a fantastic season, but more importantly, fantastic end to your season, right? I believe we have you on record as our most consistent player of the season. We've said this multiple times. Definitely deserve even like I would be inclined to say even an MOP. I don't want to take anything away from Gino, but you put up that kind of performance. So for you to be able to kind of go out on that, and as well, Jarius Jackson coming out and saying that he trusted you in that moment, he trusted you to do that and to get those points. It just kind of speaks volumes about the campaign you've run here in Edmonton.
Yeah, no, it was obviously like we would have loved to go to the playoffs and win a couple more games early, but it was selfishly, it was such a great way to finish the year. And I mean, like, just a funny joke that me and Boris had all year was I led the league in rouges by probably 8 or 9, like far above anyone else in the league. And half of them I'll take credit for. Half of them weren't great placed short field kicks. But I mean, I could not catch a bounce to save my life for the first probably 12 games of the year. On Friday night, I caught a couple good bounces and we were pinning them deep, but I just couldn't catch a bounce. And Boris kept screaming every time I ran off the field after a rouge, "Mr. Rouge, like most valuable rouge," and like just ending the season like that. It was a great way to cap it off.
That's awesome.
Totally, Canada's favorite point, as we say. The very, very polarizing rouge. We know that Milt Stiegel particularly could do without the rouge, but it's moments like that. It's like the most Canadian thing ever. And yeah, like we said, when Barstool Sports is reporting and talking about it, you've made a splash in the football world somehow, some way. And
get a lot of Americans being like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah. Did you? Yeah, I was just about to ask. Yeah, did you get a lot of shout outs and messages?
Yeah, just a lot of like, what is the rule? How does this work? Great job.
That's awesome.
Oh,
That's
so good.
You know what? That's what the CFL needs a little bit more. A little bit more highlights, a little bit more attention, and something a little bit weird like a rouge that just creates a lot of attention. It's just another way to kind of bring.
The saying is keep it unreal, right? That was a keep it unreal moment. Much like Larry driving the truck through the sidelines. All right, we will let you go here right away. We do have one more herd chat question here, Jake.
Yes.
And do you have a signature or favorite punt if the drop changes things like a pitcher's grip?
Yeah, so punt I've been working on quite a bit. It's called the banana punt. So usually I drop the ball, if I can show you, like that.
Okay.
I kick through it and it spirals, it turns over. But I've been dropping it like that, horizontal. And you kick through the side panel and it goes up. It's a different spin. I didn't get many situations where I could have tried it this year because we were in a lot of close games. And the last thing we need is a punt that goes 10 yards. And coach goes, "What was that?" And I said, "Oh, it was banana punt. Like next time when it works, it'll be really awesome." But yeah, I've been working on that for about 3 or 4 years. And if the situation arises, I have it, and it's pretty cool. Might get a turnover out of it.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
St. John does ask, is that from Johnny Hecker?
I think he's definitely the pioneer of it. But it came pretty organically, just messing around with it, and it went from a line drive to a pop-up to being able to control it to having it spin, it go left, right, then left, and then right, left, and right. So it's evolved over the years. Johnny's definitely the best at it in the league. I think the Jaguars punter Logan Cook hits a really good one as well, and it's growing in popularity. But mine is a little bit more, how would I say it, even just hitting the ball really hard. Johnny's is really technical. I just kind of put the ball out there and hit it in a different spot and just try to swing really hard.
Nice. Hey, and you know what? It seems to have worked out. I mean, maybe not particularly any banana punts, but whatever you're doing this year, man, it's certainly working. You got the technique. You definitely got it.
Yeah, we do. We do have another comment right here. Last comment. Jake was MVP. This season.
Love it. Love it. I almost hit the chair. All right. For our very last question here, we do got to ask Jake. This is going to be a really big off season for you. Off season is always a very important time of the year for athletes such as yourself. But for you in particular, you might have a little bit of a busy off season. So what is in store? What do you have planned? Is there anything you can divulge?
Yeah. So if I get lucky enough to get an NFL opportunity here, I will jump at it. I will try to take full advantage of it. See what happens. I don't want to count the chickens before they hatch. Don't want to speak anything to the world that hasn't happened already. But hopefully I get a good look. We'll see what happens. And then if the off season progresses and that doesn't pan out, it's just looking to be in Edmonton for a long time.
We love to hear that.
Oh,
we love to hear that.
We
Because
would love to
obviously-
have you, man.
For sure. And I mean, obviously, the first thing that we want for every single one of our players is to go chase your dreams.
Go get the money.
First and foremost. But if that doesn't pan out, Edmonton's got you. So we will welcome you with open arms.
Yeah, no, it'd be great to have I've always wanted to have a long career in one place, right? I talk to a lot of veteran guys that have played in the NFL and the CFL, and it's tough moving your family all over the place, right? So just having a long career in one place and really making the most of it would be awesome.
Oh, totally. And we'll be here cheering for you. We really want to see you go get that opportunity. So, we'll be reposting as soon as we possibly can and getting that information out there if we do see it. And if we don't, like you said, maybe coming back to Edmonton. So no matter what, man, really hope the best for you in this offseason. Hope you won up just like you did in this last one. Your mom, Jessica, and your dad, Rob, really awesome people. They've been friends of the herd for a hot minute now. So it's really cool, man. You have a really, really great family unit around you. And what you're building in your own personal family there is amazing. And then, of course, you're budding and growing. And I mean, at this point, skyrocketing punter. So, man, like we said, really, really thankful for your time today, Jake. We'll let you continue onward, but we hope you have a fantastic off season. We wish you the best, and we hope you have yourself an awesome night, man.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Appreciate you, man.
Much.
Cheers.
Have a good night.
And that was Jake Julien, number 9 of the Edmonton Elks. That crazy finish on Friday night. One of the craziest games I've ever seen.
And it's always so good when, the player's so wholesome that it's just like, yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so good.
Yeah, humble guy. Really awesome stuff. Jake Julien, once again, really, really thrilled to have him on the show tonight. This was a great conversation. We still have a lot of show to go. This is a loaded episode of the Elks Call. Just a little bit more to go here. So let's get into it. We do have some announcements. Our announcements are brought to you by Puck and Pigskin. Jason Basic covers all things Stamps, CFL, Calgary Flames, and the NHL. Go check him out every Tuesday live on Shotgun Sports Network. Should be on YouTube. New episode dropped yesterday with Coach Phil. Coach Phil was on the show, and he also had Red Mile Rundown. I know that if you're a Double E fan, you're probably not interested in that Red Mile Rundown part, but Coach Phil is always a great time. So go check out Pug and Pigskin on Shotgun Sports Network. Also on Shotgun Sports Network is our latest article, Edmonton Elks article. It was not it was not late this time. We got it in on time. We got her done. Last one for the season. Big thanks to you, the viewer, and you, the reader, for tuning in or reading our articles. Sorry, not tuning in per se, but for checking us out on the website. Like I said, go check it out, shotgunsportsnetwork.ca. All right, this is a big one. We're giving away a pair of Oilers tickets. How the heck did this happen? Well, good guy, Klima's Lid, friend of the herd, Klima's Lid, and great guy in general in the Edmonton sports media world, big contributor to shows in the chats and whatnot. So really cool. And of course, he's a big Edmonton sports supporter in general. So big shout out to Klima's Lid for this. Can't thank you enough, man. I know we've said it around 50 times already, but once again, thank you so much. Now, if you want to win these 2 tickets to the Islanders versus Oilers game, text the word punter to 780-307-7779. The rules here, well, you must follow the Elks Herd on X or Facebook. And we'll give you a bonus ballot if you go ahead and follow or subscribe to Shotgun Sports Network on YouTube. So let us know if you do one or both, but you have to bare minimum follow the Elks Herd on X or Facebook. We will be asking for verification if and when you win. So it's
Can I enter?
you cannot enter. You are putting it on here as the
Dang
Elks Herd.
it.
It's gonna be like,
Such
yeah,
a good giveaway.
you'll get your roses. Well, yeah, we'll make sure you go to a game. But
Okay.
that being said, text the word punter 780-307-7779 to win 2 tickets to the Oilers versus Islanders game.
Yeah.
Just
So
crazy.
Good. So good.
Oh,
Get on it.
Hey,
Get on
Klima's lid in the herd chat. My pleasure. Love the show. No, we love you, man. This is
Amazing.
once again just fantastic. The contest will close on November 2nd at 12 p.m. noon, and we will contact the winner shortly after that. Entries will go through a number will process. We're very transparent about that. Now, the reason why it's November 2nd, well, we want to make sure that people that are listening on Edmonton Sports Talk can indeed enter in on this.
Sorry. I'm just adding the phone number. Oh,
Sorry.
I'm adding the phone number and showing it right there. So text punter to 780-307-7779.
307-7779. That is 780-307-7779. Text the word punter.
Sorry, I'm playing around.
Sorry, I got
Alright.
dry cough. Okay. Elks Call season finale will be in 3 weeks.
Mhm.
So we're going to have a Grey Cup preview show coming up in 2 weeks and then a Grey Cup breakdown show to finish the season. We will also be doing a holiday special where we give away a bunch of EE goodies. And then that's going to take place on December 18th. Then Section X 75 jersey is officially retired. It's currently being framed so it can be immortalized forever. Time to talk some Elks.
Yeah.
You got this.
Let us cough. Holy,
Throats are
sorry, that was
dry
weird.
right now. Throats are dry.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk some Elks. This is the Herd Report where Kathy brings you the latest Edmonton Elks game recap, news, and transactions. The Herd Report is brought to you by the Forge Podcast. Experience the latest in Birmingham sports with Ryan Messer as he gives you the latest news and updates. Find the Forge every week on Shotgun Sports Network. The Barons have won a championship and he covered them. Birmingham Bull season is starting right now. He covered that. Go check it out. The Forge every week. And Ryan Messer, yes, you are eligible. 780-307-7779. Text punter. Punter. Like Jake Julien is a punter. Like we have a mascot named Punter down at Commonwealth Stadium.
Who looks like a little.
He's not a potato. He's not a potato.
He's
Stop
the
calling
cutest
Punter.
baked potato.
Don't call him a potato.
All right.
Hey, somebody called him a potato. Like my buddy Matt Hughes that went to the Northern Kickoff with me. He's like, "What the F is that? Is that a potato?" I'm like, "No, man, no, it's Punter. Stop."
He's still a cute potato. But all right, let's talk about this game. This wild, wild game. Friday, October 25th, the Edmonton Elks had their last game of the season and faced Toronto Argonauts. Once again, for a wild, wild game. So let's just break it down. During the first quarter, the Edmonton Elks kicked off the game with decent defensive play, halting the Argonauts after a missed field goal attempt really early on. Javon Lake recovered it, but after an illegal block penalty, the field position we had on the responding drive was not the greatest. Offensively, the Elks worked methodically down the field with steady rushes by Justin Rankin and short, effective passes from Trey Ford. Ford connected multiple times with receivers Tevin Jones, Gino Lewis, gaining crucial first downs that kept the drive alive. However, an incomplete pass attempt on a third down on the Toronto's 37-yard line led to a turnover on downs, stalling their momentum.
Yeah.
Why would you go for it and not go for the kick? It's third and
I
seven.
think there was a little bit of a lack of faith there.
Mm,
I think that, and especially too, if there was a breeze, which there was a light breeze, it wasn't
Yes.
crazy, but and now here's the other thing too. I don't know if Boris Beatty was per se in or if they had Vincent
it
Blanchard.
was Vincent.
So they
Blanchard.
had Vincent Blanchard,
Yeah.
which means
Yeah,
you have a
that's-
new kicker in there. You're putting the pressure of the world on his shoulders.
I-
So, and of course, this is also a game that technically doesn't really mean too much.
Mhm,
So you can risk it.
mhm. That's fair. And after that, we did see a couple of Cameron Duke sacks by Elliot Brown, both of them. But an Edmonton penalty of roughing the passer gave them a first down and an additional 15 yards. Thankfully, the Elks were able to hold them down to just a field goal. Towards the end of the quarter, the Elks picked up their pace. A short pass to Zach Mathis gained some yardage, but Ford's subsequent pass to Javon Leake turned explosive as Leake dashed 67 yards for a touchdown with the time expiring in the quarter. That was a cool one. That was a really cool one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, kicker Vincent Blanchard missed the convert, leaving the Elks with 6 points on the board.
So
That's the first one.
that's why you go for it in those instances, because you kind of figured this might happen down the road.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. You know. There you go. The second quarter, the Edmonton Elks began with a kickoff, and Toronto's Herslow, am I saying it right?
Herslow?
He returned it 40 yards, unfortunately, setting up for a good field position for the Argonauts. They capitalized, of course, and followed with a touchdown of their own. And now
Yeah.
it's the second quarter, and we see Jared Dagey on the field. What the hell?
Yeah, that was really frustrating. So it's funny. I actually ran into Klima's lid, and him and I were talking about it, and I'm like, "Listen, man, if Daggy is in for the rest of the game, this looks like an agent's move. Like, yeah, like Sinjin says here in the herd chat, yes, they were trying guys out. Now, apparently, it was always the plan to have Daggy do the full second quarter, because that basically gives you like a back half of a game, if that makes sense. Because you're not playing him for the first quarter, you're playing him for the second quarter, which is, let's say that you can kind of simulate an end of a game like that. So it's like you got this amount of time to get this amount of points, and you got to get it done all in this quarter. So, in one hand, yes, that's what we're looking at. The problem with this is that Jared Dagey wasn't practicing with the ones.
Yeah,
all
that's
week.
just it. It seemed like a really weird timing. It was really weird timing. And at that point, I think everybody was wondering if Trey Ford was going to come back.
Yeah, no. It. I think everybody was. And everybody, I can tell you, out in the concourses at halftime, everybody was stressed because they're like, why would we have shown up if this is going to be a Jared Dagey show?
Especially after the first quarter, right? I mean, after what Trey did, that touchdown pass, after he's hot in the game, why do you take him away? What's going on?
Yeah, so there was confusion, and it was confusion all across Commonwealth Stadium. So it was good. I know that you're going to get to it. It was good to see Trey back in for the third.
Yeah, it certainly was, but it was a little confusing. Like I say, really weird timing. I don't think it really made sense all that much, but we go forward. And even with an offside penalty, Edmonton's defense definitely managed to hold off Toronto's advances, forcing the Argos to punt after a failed pass attempt. On the Elks' next possession, they moved downfield with Justin Rankin gaining yards on the ground. However, a short gain and a loss of yardage stalled the drive, leading to another punt. As the quarter wound down, the Elks put together a few productive plays, but a procedure penalty and an incomplete pass brought another punt, and another penalty for unnecessary roughness gave Toronto the ball at their own 17. So what do you think of that penalty?
The unnecessary roughness.
Yeah.
Was that the one where I was screaming? Where was the roughness?
Yeah.
How was it? Like, it seemed like a textbook tackle to me, because that was against the quarterback, right? That was against was that Arbuckle at that point, or was that still Dukes? Yeah, it was Arbuckle at that point.
Yeah, it was Arbuckle.
So yeah, I mean, that was you saw that, and I stood up and I never swear in Commonwealth. Elks, please don't give me flack for swearing in the stadium, but I stood up and I said, where the F is the unnecessary roughness? Can they not just tackle the quarterback anymore? Because that's what it was. Like, I remember he just wrapped him up and just kind of fell to the ground with him, and
Right.
they're like, whoop. And it seemed like it was a lot of this all night. And I will say it was a little bit one-sided, but there is some really questionable calls that night.
That one I did think it was a little soft,
Yeah,
if anything. So
so soft.
what can we do about it? But there was an Arbuckle interception by Darius Bratton. And on the Elks' final possession, we saw Javon Leak rush effectively, picking up solid gains. But unfortunately, the time expired on their drive, bringing the points half to a close, and the Elks behind by 7 points at the end of the half. So,
But I don't think anybody was stressed. That's the
not
thing.
at this point. No, I don't think so. Going into the third quarter, it opened up with a burst of momentum from the Edmonton Elks as Javon Leak made a massive 88-yard rush. That was crazy. That was a crazy one. I brought them down to Toronto's 12-yard line. However, as it seemed to be the case for a lot of these plays, the drive slowed after a loss of yards on a rush by Germanic Smith and a short pass to Zach Mathis. They settled for a 19-yard field goal by Vincent Blanchard, adding 3 points to the score. Toronto responded, however, with a particularly long drive that resulted in a touchdown. Later in the third quarter, Edmonton's offense struggled to find its rhythm, and after 2 incomplete passes from Trey Ford, the Elks were once again forced to punt. Although the Elks managed a 17-yard gain with a pass to Germanic Smith, a fumble snap on the next play pushed them back, and they had to punt again, giving up any remaining field advantage. So I think this is where people started getting a little like,
well, yeah, people started to get salty,
Mhm.
and I mean, the fourth quarter, you saw the comeback, but then you also saw failures. Like you saw them turn over the ball, right? So
Mhm.
there was there was a time. There
Yeah.
was a time in that fourth quarter. Let's talk about
Yes. I muted that
it.
one.
It is a
I muted that one.
it is a sick episode up in here.
I keep muting my cough, so I got this. The fourth quarter
Production, yeah.
saw the Edmonton Elks offense finally hit its stride. Javon Leak started with a steady gain, and Trey Ford followed with an impressive 22-yard run, setting the tone for a very dynamic drive. Ford's mix of short passes and rushing plays led to consistent first downs, ultimately resulting in a touchdown pass to Gina Lewis. And that was nice to see. I could tell. I wasn't in the stadium, so I was watching the feed on the TV, and you could tell that Trey Ford was looking for Gino. He wanted to give Gino that one.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, well, and it was a record tying
Mhm,
touchdown pass for Gino.
mhm.
He needed that one in order to continue his streak, right? So
Yeah.
that was massive for Gino Lewis. That was also a good leadership piece from
Of
Trey Ford.
course.
He made sure his guy got the achievement.
Mhm.
He made sure he got the milestone. That's such a big thing because coaches often get in their own way
Mhm.
by not letting the player get the milestone or get the achievement. And we've kind of seen this with Chris Jones, honestly. You know, that like Manny Arsenault, I think he had an Ironman streak or something, right?
Yep.
There's
Yep.
how many games played,
Mhm.
and then he got sad or something, right? So we see this. We definitely see this.
Mhm.
Oh, I love it. The C murders are already busting out in the herd chat.
We'll get to that.
Oh, we are so gonna get to that.
Yeah, after that, although the Elks missed the 2-point conversion attempt, they, of course, kept up the pressure. Later in the quarter, a major 71-yard pass to Germanic Smith set up another score. A 10-yard rush from Justin Rankin finished that drive with a touchdown, and this time they succeeded in the 2-point conversion, which was great. We needed that one.
Needed that.
Toronto responded, and an offside penalty by Edmonton, of course, didn't help. They successfully scored a touchdown plus the extra point. Toronto didn't quite manage their time properly, however. So the Elks still had plenty of time. I think we were at 1 minute and 47 seconds or something like that.
Nice, that'd be
To
good. If you got
continue to
that, if you
push.
got that number nailed down, that'd be amazing.
I think so. Continue to push with 4 successful deep passes. These were highlighted by a 50-yard connection to Gino Lewis, followed by a 40-yard touchdown to Zach Mathis, sealing an very explosive quarter. Convert kick was good. And of course, now it was up to the defense to hold Toronto back and seal the game.
Nope.
Nope. 17 seconds left on the clock, and Edmonton had yet another roughing the passer penalty by Christmas, giving Toronto that extra 15 yards needed for them to tie the game with a field goal, leading to overtime. Like, the defense had one job. They had a job.
Yeah, they were a little bit tuckered. Now, what I will say is the 3-and-out was critical because I was in the washroom. I ran up.
Mhm.
I went to grab Luca,
Mhm.
friend of the herd, Luca. Ended up coming to the game in lieu of you.
Mhm.
And he's like, "Yeah, I want a hot dog." I'm like, "Yeah, well, it looks like Toronto's gonna get the ball back now. It looks like they're gonna march down the field and get that touchdown to seal the deal. Like, how many times have we seen that touchdown to seal the deal for the other team,
Mhm.
right?" And then everybody just leaves. So it didn't even make it to the actual touchdown. Fans just started leaving with like that minute
Mhm.
47 left on the clock, right?
Mhm.
So Toronto has the ball.
Yeah.
And then they get the 3-and-out. And Edmonton Elks get the 3-and-out. And all of a sudden, it's a 2-play touchdown.
Yeah.
Like that, and after everybody had left, you saw how empty it was. And when we say everybody, yeah, sure. It might have been a couple thousand, whatever joke we want to make there. Horrible attendance, for sure.
Mhm.
Clemenslet did say that there was an Oilers game on Friday night, so that's a contributing factor. There is a lot of sports fatigue here in Edmonton right now
Yeah.
after the Oilers playoff run and some of the other events that we had over the summer, right? Now Oilers season is already back on again, so people got their priority. There's World Series on tonight. There's a
Oh,
ton
yeah.
of sports right now. It's the
It's
craziest
just the
time of year.
weather itself too.
The weather was chilly. There's no implications. It's a nothing burger of a game, right? Which is something people don't really want to admit, but really it was. But it's everything for the development of this team going into 2025. This still matters to Elks fans.
Mhm.
Should matter a heck of a lot more to Edmonton sports fans. Really disappointed in that attendance, but if you were there, if you were one of the couple thousand that stayed in that building to
Mhm.
watch the
Oh.
rest of that game, you were treated to one of the most Canadian endings in the
Oh.
CFL ever. Yeah, see, there's Mick
That was
Aussie there in the
crazy.
herd chat. Mick Aussie ended up leaving minutes into the last quarter. He missed the last beer, so went to the Legends Club and watched because he said screw the cold when it was a nothing game. Yeah,
And then suddenly, boom,
boom.
boom. And thankfully, Toronto did miss that field goal from the 42nd yard line, which gave Trey Ford the opportunity to get Edmonton the score it needed to win.
The one single score.
Well, he wasn't going for that. We can all agree he wasn't necessarily going for that. They weren't expecting to win by a rouge.
No.
Didn't quite happen the way that they were expecting. But hey, facing another third down, the Elks opted to punt. And number 9 that we just had here on the show, Jake Julien, his kick went out of bounds in Toronto end zone, resulting in that single point. And the single point concluded the overtime scoring, giving Edmonton the walk-off win with a rouge.
Rouge for the win, baby.
How Canadian.
Rouge for the win.
I love it.
Most Canadian thing I've ever seen in my life as far as Canadian football. Rouge to win. We've talked about it already quite a bit tonight, but really, it's a Canadian heritage moment, I would say. We should meme that. We're going to have to meme that tomorrow.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot to say about this game. Obviously, those penalties just absolutely killed us. 3 roughing the passers, 15 yards each in itself. Like, that's rough.
Oh, yeah. The penalties were pretty gross. When you take a look at the penalty stats, it's really bad.
All of those third and outs, turnover and downs, not necessarily the best way to go about it, but sometimes you just can't avoid it. But the good, let's talk about some good here. We do have some some stats over here that have been happening. We talked already about receiver Geno Lewis. 34 yards in the first half, earned his third 1,000 season in his career.
Huge.
Mm-hmm.
Huge.
Jake Julien, of course, we already talked about this. He has a 50.7 yard average.
The yard average is officially 54, right?
Yeah, no, that's right. And he set the record for the highest punting average now in a season at 54 yards. Yes.
Yeah.
So that was back when they were doing that before this.
Yeah,
but
true
yes.
enough. Yeah.
Yes.
And I believe Nick Anderson actually ended up finishing the season with 111 defensive tackles.
Yeah.
So 111 defensive tackles to, I believe that's the second most by a CFL rookie ever.
Yeah,
second
he
most.
did absolutely. He did great.
Yeah, Nick Anderson
great.
did absolutely amazing. So really huge.
Mhm.
Really huge. Are both players tied for the league lead with 108, or was that before?
Yeah, no. So this was according to Dave Campbell, I believe, a couple of days after the game,
Okay.
or before the game. I'm not too sure.
I think that one's before, because 111, I believe, is the
then
official
that might
stat,
have been
yeah.
before that they were tied for the league lead with 108. So yeah, might be a little bit higher now.
Huge.
But
And
either way, it's really big.
oh, really huge. And then the other thing too is, I mean, I know we're going to talk about it, I'm sure, but the All-Stars, did you include the All-Stars All-Star selections? The CFL
Yes, I sure
All-Stars?
did.
Oh, you did. Okay,
I sure
perfect. Well,
did.
here, let's get
Yep.
through the transactions first, and then we'll get there.
Transactions. We did have some transactions on October 28th. American wide receiver Kel Smith, he was signed to a futures contract, as well as American defensive lineman Jordan Stretchen and American defensive back Jalen Green. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There was a 1-year extension for Justin Rankin. He rushed for 765 yards in 11 games, averaged 69.5 yards per game, 7.8 yards per carry, 10 rushes of 20 yards or more, 5 touchdowns. Fantastic move by the Elks.
Crazy. 765 yards in 11 games. 11 games.
Yeah.
Justin Rankin is a beast.
Yeah.
And he like, I mean, we've talked about it before on the show. Andrew Harris type build. You know, he has that charge and drop a shoulder type play, right? But he charges through and he rushes through, and he has that ability to him.
Yeah.
So I mean, 765 yards in 11 games, crazy average of 69.5. Crazy.
Yeah. No, fantastic move. Fantastic move. And the other all teams release their practice roster players as free agents. So this includes Kevin Brown.
Yeah, and that, I mean, it does suck. Outsider looking in, he will get picked up somewhere.
Yeah. Well, that's not to say that the Elks could not pick him up, because it's a free agency. They can, but at the same time, when you have the talent already, right? But he will get picked up.
Well, and he's also a starting type player. He is not going to settle for, playing RB3 behind Javon Leake, who right now looks to be a presumable starter, or Justin Rankin, who, could be a presumable starter. So it's crazy times. And if Justin Rankin signs, well, he did get extended. Yeah, I mean, technically he's a rookie, right? So
yeah.
Sorry. No, all good. We do see quite a few comments in the herd chat, so we will get there in a moment. We'll get to the news. We'll get to the news at the end. Let's talk about the CFL All-Star, the all CFL team.
Yeah, we did see that, the 2024 West Division All CFL team. The selections include wide receiver Geno Lewis, center Mark Horty, safety
Luchez Purifoy.
I struggle with that name. Like, you have no idea.
Oh, I have an idea.
Lucic. That's what I call him all the time.
He's not a hockey player named Milan. Lucic.
Luch Purifoy.
There you go. Luch Purifoy. Coach Lou. Coach Lou, as the boys call him.
There you go. Offensive tackle Martis Ivy.
Ivy, yeah.
Defensive end Elliot Brown, and linebacker Nick Anderson, and punter Jake Julien.
Crazy. I can, like, Nick Anderson, a rookie. Not going to be surprised if Nick Anderson gets some NFL looks right
Mhm.
away. He's probably going to have a couple camps. Yeah, so I mean, obviously Jake Julien, best player
Yeah.
on the team this season, in my opinion, and
Yeah.
in your opinion as well. I'm pretty sure. I don't want to speak for your opinion.
Yeah. No,
But
100%. I always said, when was the last time that we saw the punter being the best player in the team?
well, yeah, no, and we just witnessed a season of that.
hmm So, but now we talk about the news. Oh, actually, let's take a look at some of the comments here that we have. Um, Before we move on to the big pieces of news that we all know what's coming. Let's see. Let's see. Um,
Well, we did see the Sea Murder one. There is some very exciting stuff. I like St. John's comment here.
See,
I
there
can
you
see
go,
them
yeah.
prepping Daggy for the number 2 role next season.
Yep, we do see that. I could see it too. We kept saying, if they re-sign Trey Ford, that Daggy wouldn't be a bad choice for QB2.
Personally,
for
I like
sure.
Daggy. I think Daggy's a great player
We
if
haven't-
developed.
We haven't seen enough of him, so I mean, it wouldn't hurt to see what he can do as well.
No,
There
exactly.
were more Toronto fans at the game than Elks fans.
Come on, come on. And then, of course, there's the renewal. I did also see. I did see there was a comment from John about the renewal saying that didn't seem like it was going well. I mean, it is early on, right? Renewals
Mhm.
usually pick up closer to the season, as we know.
Mhm.
But we do have a big piece of news here for the Edmonton Elks today.
Hmm.
The Edmonton Elks, and I mean the official announcement, will be tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, the Edmonton Elks have announced today that Chris Morris is in at President and CEO of the Edmonton Elks. His resume includes 3 Grey Cups with the Double E, along with a head coaching stint with the U of A Golden Bears that lasted over 10 years. Chris Morris is the President and CEO of the Edmonton Elks. I'm always thrilled for any excuse to bring out the breaking news. The breaking news music is the best. Yeah, I mean Chris Morris, we have our name. It's not a Sean Fleming. Ed Hervey is not the president of the team. This is Chris Morris out of left field, out of nowhere.
That's why we saw. Well, I saw the tweet from Edmonton Sports Talk, who broke the news, of course, to everybody.
Shout out to Jason Milne, J Milne, EST Glue Guy, for breaking that news.
I love it. But I saw the tweet and I turned to Scout immediately and I was like, is this a joke? Like, is this for real? Because are they just speculating? Is it are they just joking? Because we weren't expecting that.
Yeah.
I don't think that a lot of people were actually expecting that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a lot of speculation on who it could be, and I mean, before we proceed, I think recognition needs to be made here for the city of Edmonton and the Edmonton sports scene right now for the Double E. Nice. Mick Ossie bought a fancy couch off J Milne, but J Milne today broke the news. EST had Jed Roberts and J-Min in studio. I also did see that Mick Ossie did comment on Trey Ford being in Sports 1440 studios, and we had Jake Julien on our show. So today was a massive, massive day, and usually when you finish up the season, there's zero excitement, right? It's like, here we go, we're going into another season of we don't know what the heck is going on. No, Edmonton Elks fans have an idea of what's going on now. We know that, Chris Morris is coming in, putting his heart and soul into this organization. He is one of the best guys you can have in that role.
Mm-hmm.
We've watched U of A Golden Bears. We know some alumni. We know Coach Cordy over on the D-line there for the U of A Golden Bears. I've had some candid conversations with him about, Chris Morris. Nothing but good words, nothing but positive words, right? So Chris Morris coming in is fantastic, but big props need to be made outside of us to Edmonton Sports Talk and Sports 1440 for giving Edmonton Elks fans a crazy wild ride of content today.
Mhm.
I think it's really cool to see how this has turned around. A year and a half ago, we had zero radio station covering
Yeah.
the Edmonton Elks, no internet radio stations covering the Edmonton Elks, and a year and a half ago, I'm pretty sure not even the Elks Call was on the air. It's like Turf District was shouldering it all on their own, was hauling it on their back, right? Like a Santa sack of Elks content. There was a time where there was only one podcast, and literally that was it for Elks coverage. As of today, you had three facets. Turf District, if they would have had their episode yesterday, they would have had some Elks coverage. So, and props to the Edmonton Elks. How cool that the Edmonton Elks ended up supporting that across the city today. They pushed that content out, and they wanted it obviously to be known. They dropped the official announcement at 4:30, and Jay Milne had it at 3:30.
Yeah.
So really cool, great guy, Coach Morris. Pretty sure I have him on Facebook. Like he's a really good guy. Nothing but love for the Edmonton football scene. St. John here. I'm excited to see a guy like Coach Morris in a role like this. Another guy who knows this community. 12 years at the U of A Golden Bears as head coach, has brought up men, has brought men through his system, has brought Coach, brought Brent's son, Mark, through the system.
Yeah.
Has brought many other, I believe Carter O'Donnell as well, who the Edmonton Elks own the rights for, former Arizona Cardinals. So there's so many players that you could list off. Daniel Chin, there's so many, right? So he's run a fantastic system. He's been doing great, and he also needs to step up somewhere too. Now, there was a little bit of back and forth online, people questioning, well, Chris Morris, does he really have the business side of it? I saw Dave Campbell clap back at somebody saying, look, being the head coach and running a lot of those pieces that you do at the Canadian youth sports collegiate level, it is like a business. It is a business. The fundamentals are still there, right? So yeah, it's a good signing. What do you have any thoughts on Chris Morris as president and CEO?
I'm not sure. To be honest, I don't know much about him. Both as an EE alumni and as the head coach of the Golden Bears, unfortunately. It's not like I've been really introduced to him or heard of him a lot. So I am just optimistic based on what people have said.
That's the most like straight up. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like that was really good. That was I was watching it on.
Though, because I read the comments, I read what people have to say, and I think first and foremost, I agree with St. John that we need somebody that is a community guy first and foremost.
Somebody that understands this market, right?
Of course, and he sure does. Obviously maybe not directly, but there's always going to be parallels between what he's doing and what he's able to do for the Edmonton Elks as well. So clearly people have faith in him and what he can do. Larry Thompson, Rick Lalishire.
Yeah.
Right? So I have faith.
Well, and apparently Rick Lalishire is going to be staying on board in an advisory role as well. So, he's kind of going to be around and help the transition period because he wants to retire and officially retire and stop doing this and stop working football gigs. Yes, exactly. And like St. John said, he's an Essex alumni. 3 Grey Cups.
Yeah. So he knows the organization.
I believe it was a crazy amount of time, 10 to 15 years or something. So Chris Morris has been with this organization. He's seen it in glory days. Not quite the 1980s glory days, but the 2000s, the early 2000s, the team was dynasty level. And they were close to another dynasty. Really close to another dynasty, 2003 and 2005. Yeah. So, this organization needs a Chris Morris. I like what people are saying here in the Hurt Chat. Daryl Henderson is saying, I'm for bringing back Hervey as GM and Mark Killam coming north as head coach. So that's also big news today that I'd like to quickly dig into here. We knew this was going to be a big episode. Let's dig into it. So, widespread speculation, and I'm obviously not going to say any sources or anything like that, but there is some speculation out there. Ed Hervey's name has been in the fold for a hot minute now. There is some very strong belief that Ed Hervey, and this is now down to Farhan Lalji has now reported that Ed Hervey is in the mix. So now that it's official that Ed Hervey's in the mix, it's looking more and more close. Like, you know, it's looking closer to an Ed Hervey and Edmonton reunion. And I would love that personally. I think that would be good because Ed Hervey can build a good team. He has a winning first mentality. He's not so good with the media. He's not a big media guy. Could care less. He focuses on the winning, and that's where he does his work.
Yeah.
So Ed Hervey, I think, would be a great GM. Mark Killam, he was also let go by the Stampeders just recently. I want to say like today or yesterday. Yeah. Mark Killam was let go. So Mark Killam has been on the watch board for the Double E for quite some time as well. So it'll be interesting. Like I really don't know.
Yeah. But we've talked about it, right? There's a lot of what ifs.
So
and I mean, I think we can confidently say that we did not see this happening.
No,
okay?
I don't.
So, and that's just it. We can continue talking about who we think is going to be a good fit. You know, the names that are out there, and then suddenly, like, whoa.
But here we are now. So Chris Morris now, different Chris. It's no longer Chris Jones. Chris Morris now gets to build his team. And who knows what the influence will look like from the outsiders or the people that are consulting him on this, right? Who knows? But he gets to build his team.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see, that's for sure.
What is this? I did see a comment from Puck and Pigskin. Puck and Pigskin here.
It's not in here
Facebook.
For some reason.
Hey guys, sorry I missed almost all the show. We'll watch the whole thing tomorrow. Hey man, thanks a lot for tuning in, Jason Basic, in the Herd Chat on Facebook. Like you said, everybody, go check out Puck and Pigskin. It's a pretty good show that talks CFL. Just unfortunately the wrong team, the wrong Albertan team. But no, Puck and Pigskin has a lot of NHL and CFL content in general. Alrighty. Got two great clips with Ed Hervey back in 2002 and 2005. He's so friendly to Aussie media. Love you, buddy. Mick Aussie in the Herd Chat. Klima's lit up here had, how does Dickinson keep his job? Yeah, that is a good question, isn't it? Like, Dave Dickinson should have never let Mark Killam go unless Mark Killam visibly had an opportunity.
You never know.
just a coughing episode here today.
Sickly episode.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into our Edmonton sports update. I guess we'll get into that like right now.
Yes.
Yeah, let's get into that right now, shall we? Edmonton sports update. Today's update is brought to you by Herdy's. We would like to thank our fellow fans and friends for swinging by stall 182 this season. Thanks to your contributions, your donations, and of course, your mouths, we've served our delicious smoked meats to over 350 fans. The grills are off and the smoker has been stowed away. Herdy's Smokehouse is officially done for the 2024 and 2025 seasons. Come see us next year for our brand new pop-up, Herdy's Diner. Herdy's makes your tailgater a wonderful time. Your Edmonton Elks finished their season on Friday night with a victory over the Toronto Argonauts, a 31-30 walk-off Rouge being the winner. Jake Julien on the punt. The U of A Golden Bears have also been eliminated from playoff contention. A Friday night loss to the Rams in Regina, 29-22, the score to end their season. Golden Bears head coach Chris Morris has been named president and CEO of the Edmonton Elks. He served as head coach with the University of Alberta Golden Bears football team for 12 years. Press conference introducing him with the Double E officially will be at 2 p.m. Mountain on the Edmonton Elks socials. The Edmonton Oilers are currently 4-5-1 through 10 games on the season. They visit Nashville on Thursday to take on the Predators, and then they'll visit the Flames on Sunday for a Battle of Alberta in Calgary. Both games are at 6 p.m. Mountain. Your 5-5-1 and 1 Edmonton Oil Kings are in the States this weekend for 2 nights of action. They visit Seattle and the Thunderbirds on Friday at 8:05 p.m. and then the Wild and Wenatchee on Saturday. Puck drop is at 7 p.m. Mountain. In the BCHL, the 8-5 Sherwood Park Crusaders are on the road this weekend as well. They will visit the Cranbrook Bucks on Friday for a 7 p.m. puck drop, and then they'll head to Okotoks on Saturday to face the Oilers for a 7:05 p.m. puck drop. All times, Mountain. The Sherwood Park Crusaders are always looking for game day volunteers. Contact Len Nunes or Derek Yeomans at the Sherwood Park Crusaders to join the crew or visit their website directly. We're the Elks Herd. You're up to date.
No.
All right, and then we got our commercial break. So our affiliates, big shout out you. Shout out you. You the viewer, you the listener, for shopping on our affiliated sites with our affiliated links and our affiliated codes. Our codes get you a discount and we get the perks. So when you get discounts, we benefit as well. So thank you. We appreciate it. Your support helps this network continue to run. Royal Retros, they're the throwback kings. You want that vintage CFL gear that you cannot buy anymore? Well, you can buy it. You can buy it over at Royal Retros. Use code Shotgun Sports for 10% off over at royalretros.com. CFLPA gear just dropped like a month ago. Go get that CFLPA gear. Also, Football Canada, huge deal. Make sure you go over to royalretros.com. And then, as we know, Fanatics, shop on Fanatics. They always got a code. But if you're gonna go for the sale, make sure you hit the link down below in the description. And that way, once again, we get the hit. That's how you support the network. You shop through Shotgun. And then let's do some lather. How about some lather? Canadian handmade soap, lather, L-A-T-R. Wow, L-A-T-H-R. I missed the wrong letter there. But cleanse those dirty thoughts with some soap. It's going to be lather, Canadian handmade soaps. Shotgun Sports 20 is the code to get 20% off over there. And then at Shotgun Sports Network, we're always open for business, always open for sponsorships. How can we help your business? Hit us up over at admin@shotgunsportsnetwork.ca. And then, of course, like we said, we are doing a giveaway. And it's 2 Oilers tickets provided by our good friend and friend of the show, friend of the herd, and in the herd chat tonight himself, Klima's Lid, has supplied these tickets. It's going to be code punter, punter, not a potato. It's punter. Like Jake Julien is a punter. You're going to text that over to 780-307-7779. This is cool. We can point to the number. This is great. So yeah, if you want to get some tickets, if you want 2 Oilers tickets, you got to check it out right there. 780-307-7779. Text the code punter. Punter. All right. Fan forum. We have quite a bit to talk about in this fan forum. Quite a bit.
Okay.
That's not that. We don't have much. I think we have it's a Chris Morris question. We have to talk about Chris Morris here in the herd chat. Today's fan forum is brought to you. Well, we can't just can the fan forum. I know. You got any extra hulls there? Because I might need one too.
No, I went through all of them.
All right, let's do it. Today's fan forum is brought to you by the Rouge, White, and Blue podcast. Americans talking Canadian football. Oz and Joe can now be seen on Shotgun Sports Network, bringing their audibles to your screens. Everyone's favorite point, white and blue. And I will tell everybody right now, they are giving you all that Grey Cup coverage.
Mhm.
So they're breaking down the playoff predictions, which is, we didn't do playoff predictions. We kind of zoomed through that one, but we will definitely be talking Grey Cup in 2 weeks. But yeah, if you want any of that good league type chat, Rouge, White, and Blue. Oh, this is so funny. The mouth is the throat is dry.
I
This is
can't.
a long one after
I
a
know.
little sickness in the house. We are down with the sickness today. All right, let's do question number 1 with President and CEO Chris Morris being announced tomorrow. He's already been announced today, but he's being presented tomorrow. The organization is trying to fill the gaps in order to sign the players. Do you think making these moves early will make an impact on re-signing players such as Trey Ford?
That's a good question, isn't it? I think for some, I could see it. It's hard to say because I feel like even just listening to some of the media availabilities or some of the interviews, the PR answers have been so general, and it's all about, depending on what my agent says, and
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes.
Very agent type.
But I mean, if you definitely want some sort of semblance of stability if you're an agent for your player to sign with a team. 100%. And I think doing these kind of changes so quickly right after the end of the season is smart, because you're showing, the organization is showing that they're working towards that stability, that they understand that those changes need to be made, that they want to make sure that everything is kind of set before they start getting into the moves of figuring out what the roster is going to look like, right? So I could see that it will have an impact on signing some players. I'm not sure, particularly Trey Ford, but I mean, it definitely, I don't think it hurts to kind of get that done and over with sooner rather than later.
Well, and I honestly believe that there are a lot of deals right now that are being held up by this.
Mhm.
I personally believe, I don't have any insight. I can tell you right now, I don't know anything from the organization side. Zero clue. But if I'm a player and I want to commit somewhere and these guys don't have a president, they have an interim GM and they have an interim head coach. If I'm a player, I'm saying this organization just might be a mess, even though I believe in these guys.
Yeah.
Nobody's officially done anything. So if you were to delay this by another month, I think you risk losing Trey Ford. As of right now, Trey Ford is in Brinks truck mode. He's gonna be starting a bidding war. Do the Edmonton and really, if you're the Edmonton Elks, and we've talked about this before on the show, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If you do sign him, you're overpaying. If you don't sign him, you are the laughing stock of the other fan bases of the league, because people believe that Trey Ford is an elite quarterback at this point right now, which I will tell you right now, Trey Ford is not an elite quarterback at this time.
He's got the makings of one.
He's got what it takes,
100%.
but it's going to take a few more years. And I will say as well, it was really cool hearing the type of support that MBT was giving Trey Ford. Like Trey Ford, when he was on 1440, that's what Mick Ossie was talking about. When Trey Ford was on 1440 and talking with Jason Greger, he was actually he was really, really appreciative of what MBT was doing to mentor him, right? So, I mean, pure speculation right now. I really hope that Trey Ford returns to Edmonton. He was still wearing his gear in his media availabilities today. And, like, you don't really need to do that.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, that's professional. That's professionalism, so...
Well, his contract is...
I wouldn't necessarily read too much into something like that, but...
No, but his contract is technically done, I mean, he is still technically property or asset of the Edmonton Elks, right? So, the most professional thing to do right now is to do
course.
something like that. And if you're
Until-
his agent, you're probably telling him to wear it anyways.
Well, of course, until something else is announced.
Yeah.
If. But I mean, bringing it back to the question, definitely, I think that it's the best thing that they can do, get it done and over with sooner rather than later, so that it presents some sort of stability in the team and other players and agents or whoever may be looking at signing the team can know that, take them seriously in a way, right? Because
Yeah.
you definitely don't take it seriously if everything is just kind of up in the air with interim, positions and all that.
Well, and I think we will see a little bit of carousel, like Klima's Lid said here in the herd chat. Won't keep Vernon Adams Jr. and Nathan Rourke. One of them will be available.
Mhm.
At this point, it looks like it's going to be big play VA on the way out there. Calgary, we're hearing rumors about Calgary. No clue what's going on with Jake Mayer.
Yeah.
Jake Mayer might be on the move again.
Yeah.
Trevor Harris is most likely staying put. Zach Claros is going to stay put.
Mhm.
That Davis Alexander might not be a backup next year. He might be starting elsewhere in the league because
Right.
at Montreal's Davis Alexander, that guy's a starting quarterback. You can't tell me that guy
Mhm.
doesn't have the makings of a starting quarterback.
Mhm.
He looked really good out there this season.
Mhm.
He did some things. So in Montreal as a whole, they have a really good room, right? They have Jason Moss at head coach.
Yeah.
And that's a hypothetical too. If you get Ed Hervey back in the fold, you might be able to get Jason Moss back in the fold, AJ Gass, all these other guys. So
Bring back the gang.
yeah, this team has a lot of work to do still.
Yes.
But I do think that this actually, the fact that the organization still hasn't laid out the rest of the dominoes, haven't fallen because of that. I think that a lot of their major signings are
Are
holding
waiting.
back
Well,
from
yeah.
making move because
I can see
obviously,
it.
like let's say if G Roy's not the guy negotiating the deal anymore. It's like why is he in this position? Why is he
Mhm.
negotiating these
Mhm.
deals?
No, it makes sense. It's like step 1, step 2, step 3.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's get our organization sorted first and then see what comes after.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is with G Roy Simon kind of just proceeding as usual, just kind of proceeding and going through his motions and being a GM, like signing the Justin Rankin deal, right? It was good, and it's good for G Roy to get his feet wet in that sense, and to obviously he's been doing that throughout the season anyways, signing
Mhm.
players and whatnot. I think he's actually the one that brought. Was he the one that brought Justin Rankin back? I think so.
I'm not sure.
Something like that. But yeah, like G Roy's been doing that job, but now with Chris Morris coming in, everything is on halt again.
Mhm.
So time will tell.
Yeah, it's
It's
gonna be a crazy off season for the Elks.
crazy next 2 weeks, I would say.
Mhm.
It's gonna be a crazy 2 weeks. Also, John, I did see your comment. Thank you. There were hiccups at the tailgate. Quick appreciation for Catherine. Let's give some quick appreciation here because Kathy, there you go. Can we talk about how Scout did really well there? We're a couple hiccups here and there, but Kathy, I think you deserve a few days off next year from tailgate.
I didn't want to take a day off. I had some serious FOMO. I didn't want to miss it.
Well, and you were
Because
missed, and everybody's coming up to me like, "Yo, where the heck is Kathy?"
I always have such a good time, and we were presenting the chili cook-off trophy and all of that, so I personally didn't want to miss it, but unfortunately, between parenting duties and the fact that I am sick, just couldn't make it. So
Hey, and you know what? I held up just well
You
enough. We served up, like I said, I think we served around like 30 to 40 brisket on a bun. So
yeah,
really
busy.
big. John, thank you so much for swinging by. But huge appreciation, Kathy, for being the other half over at the Elks herd here. Well, technically one of our 1/3. I think it's like 1/3 with Matt in the mix, Matt Morrissey.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, it's been a wild journey. It's been really good. That was the first time I've had to do the tailgate, I think, on my own. It worked out really well. Just super busy.
Mhm.
Super busy.
Yeah. No, and it usually does. So he did good though.
All right, I think our throats are drying up, so we got one more
Yeah.
question for everybody,
It-
and then we will boot her. The Edmonton Elks finished the season at 7-11, missing the playoffs by 2 wins, basically. Would you call this a successful season given the past woes? Fan forum, herd chat, let us know what you think. Do you think that this season is successful to some degree? Like, do you think that this team did well enough to at least earn a little bit of respect for next season? I'll start with this. Actually, no, I'll let you start. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say yes.
You're saying success?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
I think it wouldn't be success if there was no improvement. The fact that there was improvement just means that, they're moving in the right direction. I think there were some hiccups as well. There were some things that maybe didn't necessarily make sense. I mean, the quarterback situation, the roller coaster situation that we kept seeing, questionable. I mean, obviously, the changes that happened mid-season had an effect on all of that. So the season wasn't perfect, but I think it was successful in a way that they have managed to improve. And that's always something to celebrate, regardless, right? As long as they're moving towards a common goal and they're doing things to reach there, and you just don't see that they're slacking off or they're just giving up or anything like that, then I think you can call that a success.
Yeah, I have a hard time saying that it's a successful season. Like, I think that it's successful in comparison to the last 3 to 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to be a pessimist or anything, but really, if we want to call this team successful, and the record breaking, they shattered some records this year. They had outstanding performances. There were parts of it that were successful.
I think we even said that it doesn't matter where the Edmonton Elks end up at the end of the season. The reality is that the players themselves did fantastic.
Oh yeah, no, Klima's lid. Yes, Chris Jones is gone. I mean, that's hilarious. John here as well is saying once Chris Jones was gone, we did extraordinarily better. Just can't make the playoffs. Hopefully next year we are in the Grey Cup and not Winnipeg, and I like that. Now, I think that the team is much improved. And to see this kind of improvement, we haven't seen the team get 3 more wins in a season.
What would success be for you?
Above 500.
500 what?
Winning percentage.
Okay.
50%, yeah. You need more than 50%.
Wins, if they had more wins.
Yeah, I mean, if they
had those extra 2 wins that took us to the playoffs, would that have been successful?
I'd say it's a complete success. I can't say it's a complete success. I think that there are successful parts, and I do think that they did a lot of things better than last year. Chris Jones, the graphic at the end of the game, dead. The Chris Jones in the background, because that was one of his play call things, which he would do that, right?
So funny.
Oh my goodness! It really makes you wonder what the hell happened over the last couple years. What is going on where Jarius Jackson comes in? You have less coaching bodies, but you have more progress and you have more success.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I mean, obviously, there's room for improvement, right? But I think it was a better season, like you say, better than the last few years.
I don't think that there's anything to be ashamed about in this season. I think that the Elks could have won, coulda, shoulda, woulda. As per the X post, I mean, this team was so close to greatness. So close to greatness. And unfortunately, just couldn't get those extra points or 3 points in games.
Now, tell me this. They, by some fluke, got the extra 2 games and they moved on to the playoffs.
Well, then,
would you have said that they deserved it, though?
With the Grey Cup?
No, not the Grey Cup. I'm not going to go that far and say that the Elks would have won the Grey Cup.
But what? That they would have deserved the playoffs?
Yeah.
Yeah, they made the playoffs. Of course they deserved it.
Even with the way that they're currently playing and what they
didn't deserve to lose 5 of those games this year. They didn't deserve to lose those.
But that's just it. The way that they lost, they were good games.
Yeah.
Right? And like you say, nothing to be ashamed of. They were really good games. It just happened by, little small mistakes that made all the difference. So that doesn't take away from the fact that they were a much improved team. Unfortunately, they just were not able to take it to that point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like Klima's lit here, success really depends on the measuring stick.
Love that.
It really does. Right? To me, I mean, I guess I'm choosing to focus a lot more on the all of the other factors outside of the wins. Whereas for a lot of people, and we see it everywhere, we
Yeah.
hear it, that for them, the definition of success equals to wins.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah, and I think in talking about like or the 2024 like I guess that's a statement.
mhm.
That's a statement. Are the 2024 Edmonton Elks successful? What's your answer on that, right? And it's like, compared to 2023, yes, successful. 2024 compared to every other team in the league except for Calgary? No.
Well,
No.
yeah, no, and then we start getting into the nitty gritty, right? This
Yeah.
is such a subjective kind of answer as well, because
you're
if you
right.
really think about the franchise itself, you know, the fact that we didn't sell as many, well, they didn't sell as many tickets, that would be a not successful season,
Yeah.
right? They lost money. Losing money in general, that means not successful,
Yeah.
right? So it really depends on how you look at it. Technically, they didn't. You know, if you really think about the things that would constitute a success, and that is wins and seats, butts in the seats,
Yeah.
of course, how
Yeah.
much money the team made. But overall, I like to think that there were a lot of wins this year that I did not see in the past couple of years.
Yeah. Well, no, and you went to the stadium with a 50-50 chance of getting a home win.
Yep.
Like, you know, fans got a little bit more this year than they have in the years past, and that's huge, right?
Mhm.
Attendance obviously was really bad at that last game, but if you were one of those people that stayed for the last minutes and then overtime, I mean, you were treated to something special. So no matter what, I mean, the last game was good. Attendance wasn't great this year. Attendance expectations, it would be nice to see a 25,000 average again next year.
Mhm.
Get it back, right? And the only thing that's going to get us there is wins.
Mhm.
But all right, let's go ahead. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's close that fan forum. We got some dry coughs and some
Yeah.
dry throats over here.
I
So
need to go get some sleepy time tea and get to bed.
sleepy time tea. Apparently, I'm gonna review the show immediately. But guys and gals, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's episode. We do have a couple thanks here. Thanks to Jake Julien for joining the show tonight. This was awesome. Thanks to Klima's Lid for donating the tickets to the show. My phone has been blown up. I took a quick peek and there is messages out the derriere. So, Klima's Lid, this is one of the coolest things ever, man. Can't thank you enough. We have an Elks Herd shirt and some swag for you next time we see you. So, let us know when and where we will see you, and we will get you that. Next up, we got to thank you, the viewer, once again for tuning in, or listener for tuning in. You could be watching on YouTube, which would be Shotgun Sports Network, or you could be listening on TuneIn, iHeart, Edmonton Sports Talk, or on your favorite podcatcher. You could also be watching on Facebook, which is the Elks Herd as well. Once again, my name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X.
And I'm Catherine, aka Do You Even Elks?
We are the Elks Herd. This was the Elks Call, and we will see everybody on the next episode 2 weeks away to preview the 2024 Grey Cup Championship. And for the record, this weekend I have Saskatchewan losing, and I have Toronto winning.
Interesting.
Bold take.
Whoa,
Bold take.
that is.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much once again for joining us. We'll check in next time on the next episode.
Have a good night.
Cheers, everybody.